Welcome to a Gov Shack Lunchtime. Yes, it is lunchtime Gov Shack, not the normal 8 p.m. one, but now we have a new Gov Shack. We have a Gov Shack Wednesdays at noon, and of course, still Mondays at 8. So even more, is that good or bad? I'm not sure. I think it's good. And if you think it's good, do me a favor. You know the button that you should be clicking right now, right? You know what it is? It's the one. L-I-K-E, Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please do that if you would, to move us forward so more people can see this and they'll know what's happening. Also, if you could share this or repost this someplace else, that helps tremendously. So if you would like to do so, please do so. It's very helpful in moving this forward so people can see this. I am trying, as you know, my best to get people, excuse me, a frog in my throat today. Happens too often, to ensure that people can actually get questions answered, see what I'm talking about, make things move forward here for my run for governor of New York, as you can see. Yes, that's what I'm trying to achieve here. So thank you guys for popping up. Today, I want to, as always, take individual questions and comments, but I want to talk about opportunity in New York. You might say, Larry, why do I care about opportunity in New York if I don't live in New York? Because it goes to you too. The more opportunity we have, the happier people are, because people have hope. Opportunity means hope. People will put up with a lot. And if you know, remember about New York City. New York City has been a very, oppressive city for many years. It has. But people were okay with it. They kind of accepted it. Why? Because the opportunity was so great. The opportunity was so amazing that people didn't care. Okay, fine. I'll put up with it. I'll have, 2, 3 roommates because I've got a shot at greatness. I will put up with this craziness because I've got a shot at greatness. But when people started saying, wait a minute, I'm putting up with all this stuff and I'm being oppressed so far that I still can't get anywhere, that's when it became no. That's when it became, I'm not okay with that. Opportunity is what people need to be happy. That's true. They need to feel a future, particularly our youngsters, young men, young women out there coming to New York and thinking, I'm going to come here and be somebody, whatever that person is. That was a thing in New York. It isn't so much now. And that's why people are leaving, right? New York State loses 300,000 people every year. If you go back 20 years ago, that wasn't true. We used to be gaining. People used to run here to be somebody. That's no longer true. We have to fix that. That is the critical piece. We have to fix that. Let me give you many things we can do. I'm going to go to a place that might seem odd, but this is where I want to start. Hopefully get some conversation going too. I'm going to start with felons. Yes, felons. Why would I start with felons? Because America has a lot of felons, tens of millions of them throughout the country. You might go, Larry, why do I care about felons? There are many reasons why. Number one, if felons don't have opportunities, felons become multiple offenders. We see it all the time. Now, I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm not saying that. I am saying that what affects people is the environment. The better environment you have, the less felons you have. Are some people going to be bad? Yes. Are some felons going to be multiple offenders no matter what you do? Yes. But I know that percentage is always going to be there, whatever that percentage is. Is that the 1% or whatever it is? Then that's what it is. But the massive chunk of felons, if you give them opportunity, they will get better. How do I know this? Here's how I know this. To make sure, here's how I know this. We know data already. If someone works, a felon works for 5 years, that's the magic number. I don't know why it is, but it is for 5 years. After working for 5 years, the odds of that felon becoming a felon again are less than the average American. So you are literally safer with felons who work for 5 years than regular everyday people. So yes, so this is an important thing to know. Not just that. And those of you who know, I've had a felon in my life. My mom was a felon. When felons get an opportunity, again, I'm not counting the part that are just bad guys who will always be bad guys. I'm not counting that group. I'm talking the vast majority of people who've screwed up and become felons. If those people get a chance, they tend to be very, very loyal. Ask people who hire felons, and they will tell you, in the first 2-3 months, sometimes less, sometimes first 30 days, but for sure, the first 2-3 months, because if that felon's a bad guy, within 3 months, they've done something bad, they've stolen, they call in sick all the time. That's how it works. Within 3 months, or they're very loyal and they're happy. They want to work. They want to get life back on track. We want to give them a shot. How do we do that? By me talking about it? Well, that's nice, but something else. We want to make it in New York State that if you hire a felon, for every felon you hire, you are not going to pay payroll tax for 2 years. Then we go, wait a minute, Larry. Is payroll tax a big of a deal? It is. For those of you who are hiring in New York State, payroll taxes are almost the same as the actual salary. Yeah. So if you're paying someone $18 an hour, your payroll tax is going to be like 14, 15 bucks an hour. Yes, your payroll tax is insanely high. Getting rid of that, what does that mean? You can either save somebody, make money, awesome if you do that, or hire somebody else for a lower salary, great, or give other people raises, or make more money so you can invest into your business, whatever that is. This is specifically targeted towards small business, but it could be for big too. Big businesses tend to not hire felons because suing, they have policies to get rid of it. Small businesses tend to. So this becomes very valuable for them. If you get a certain amount, then you'll have a huge discount in your payroll tax. But Larry, people will just hire someone for 2 years to get the payroll tax, then fire them and hire a new felon so they don't pay payroll taxes. Good. You're training my felon community. Please do that. That would be amazing. Please do that. Please do that. Well, they're not paying payroll taxes. People aren't going to jail, and we're not paying for them to be in jail every day for years on end. You can scam on payroll taxes. It's fine. You're saving all of us money and fixing our culture. So please do that. I hope they do that. I hope businesses hire felons for 2 years to get the payroll tax scam and then fire them and hire more felons. I hope so. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. Our recidivism rate would go down. Our prisons would empty. Well, not empty, but would lessen. I'm exaggerating. I'm so excited about this. I'm exaggerating. They wouldn't empty, but they would absolutely come down. The recidivism rate could go down to under 10%. How do I know that? It happened in Massachusetts with a specific plan called the Humvee program, which gave veterans, in this case, opportunities. It went down to under 5%. Now, again, there's going to be bad guys. No matter what, that's going to happen. I get it. I'm not fooling myself. We're not going to get rid of prisons, right? I get it. But let's have a whole lot less and more opportunity. And here's the best part. It's voluntary. If you say to yourself, Larry, I don't trust felons. I don't like them. I don't want to hire them. Then don't hire them. Not required. It's okay. If you go, Larry, no, I don't care. I will hire felons. I'm happy to. And people do. I remember years ago, I used to sell, believe it or not, background checks. Yes, I did. I actually worked for the former police commissioner of New York, Bill Bratton. Yes. And there's somebody right now who's watching on Instagram who used to work with me at that point. So yes, he's Flying Rich is actually on Instagram right now. We worked together back then, 20 some odd years ago. So when we did that, I would sell background investigations. And there were certain companies that didn't want it. And when we'd ask, wait a minute, why don't you want to know if the people you're hiring are felons? And they were like, no, because then I'm liable. Yes, they were worried about being sued and punished for supporting the felon community. So they wanted to support the felon community, so they didn't want to have a background check. Because if they had a background check and the person had a felony, and then they did something in the company, they could be sued. See, what, didn't you know this guy was a felon? So they're like, no, I don't want to know. Just, no, thank you. I believe your product's wonderful, but no, thank you. So I know people want this. I know we can do this. This concept will give more people opportunity in our state. It's the best part. I live in Queens, New York, and it's near Rikers Island, which is, of course, the most violent jail in the entire country. No exaggeration. It's the most violent jail in the entire country. And there's a bus that goes to Rikers Island. And I can see it. It goes down 21st Street. 21st Street? Yeah, 21st Street. So if you go down, you can see the bus. I think it's the Q101, I think. I forgot which one. But anyway, it's a bus going down 21st Street. And if you look at that bus as it goes towards Rikers Island, it's filled with women and children. Yes. How heartbreaking is that? It's filled with women and children going to visit their fathers in jail. I would like those fathers to not be in jail, to not be in prison. And again, some of them deserve it and are going to be there. I get it. But a whole bunch of them could get out of this. A whole bunch don't want to be there. A whole lot don't want to be there. This plan gives those guys who don't want to be there a shot at getting back into their family, getting back with their children, getting back with their women, make that happen. It does. And you might go, Larry, is this about men or women? This is about men. I'm sorry, guys. The reality is it's about men. Prison is not filled with women. There are women in prison, but it's filled with men. It just is. So let's get those men out, give them a chance, get back in their families, back to working. If we get them working for 5 years, that's the key. So if some guy is bouncing off and down and says, I'm just going to do 2 years to get him out, great. If a felon does 2 years at a job, does a good job of it, someone else who hires felons goes, oh, that's a good guy. He did 2 years. He didn't go steal something. He didn't go do something bad. I want him to. He gets the tax break. Now I got 2-3 guys doing that. They got 6 years. Well, now you got 6 years on your resume. You didn't do anything bad or anything wrong. You passed the 5-year mark, so the odds of you going back to prison are slim to none, literally slim to none. You're now a good citizen. Again, the stats show, and other people will hire you. You got your life back in order. You're back with your family. You're back with your children. You're back in society. This is what we need. That is a good plea for opportunity. All right. I'm going to stay on the small business piece for a bit, if I can. I'm going to stay there for a little bit. And I'm going to go to how can we support small businesses. Several ways doing that too. Before I go there, let me grab a couple comments. I got a bunch of comments here. All right. Music, Crichton says, Larry, you've inspired me to start a new political party called the New York Nationals Party. Pro-freedoms, pro-independence from the U.S., citizens funded, and no lobby or corporate backing. Okay, I like that, but I'm running on 2 lines. We the People Party and Libertarian Party. You could join one of those and try to make them that. I mean, I'm not saying you should. Please do as you see fit. But I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity here for new parties that aren't already co-opted like the Democrats, Republicans. So if you want to, you could try that. Do as you see fit. But again, that's there for you, brother. I'm open. So, all righty. Wow, he has a lot to say. Okay, let me see if I can go down here for a second. He goes on to say, how about an amendment to the New York Constitution called the Supermajority County Legislative Override, basically allowing 2/3 of the counties to veto any law they deem unconstitutional, i.e. gun laws? The problem is if you do that, if you do that, it actually gives a Senate thing, a Senate style, actually too much power. Because the population in those 44 counties out of 62 would be minuscule compared to the population outside of that. That'd be the issue. You'd have to have a minimum population piece, like 50% of population or something like that. You'd have to add a population piece to that, or there would be like 15% of the population would be dominating 85% of the population. So if we are going to have a democracy, and I think that's what New York State has, sorry, that's not true. What New York State was striving to have, it doesn't have it, but striving to, I think you have to have a population or percentage number somewhere in there, or you're going to have 15% of the population. I mean, most of our counties have maybe 100,000 people in it. Maybe some have like 29, 30,000, 100,000, 200,000, an entire county. So 44 counties at 100 is what, right? It's not much. At 100,000 people, sorry. Not much. 4 million people? 5 million people? Let's go 6 million. There's 18 million in New York State. So yeah, I think you have to add something like that to make it work. Otherwise it doesn't really work. So, all righty. Let me see if I can grab here some more. All righty. What is the biggest opportunity economic development project in cities like Buffalo, Rochester Circus, etc. U.S. governor would be able to assist with? Number one, when we go to opportunity, I'm going to add this piece. Thank you for bringing this up. The Empire Economic Development Corporation needs to go away immediately. It is a disaster. Centralized government planning to build economic development doesn't work. Doesn't work. It's going to fail, and it does constantly. It is inefficient. It is desperation. It does not work. So it needs to go away. The entire thing should go away. The only way government should be assisting with any of these projects is by pushing away. There are 3 things a governor should be doing when it comes to localized economic development. Number one, defending the bullies, defending people against the bullies. There will be bullies. As an example, the no hospital downtown people in Utica, bullying people out of their property, using eminent domain to take property. The state government should be protecting the little guy from local bullies. Number one, if you want to build something, I have a problem building it. But if you're going to push somebody out, take their property, whatever, state government should be helping. Right now, the state government is the one taking the land. So instead, that's number one, should be protecting people against local bullies. Number two, removing unnecessary regulation to push through, to get people to like get stuff done, to go locally and say, why isn't this done? Why isn't it done? To put pressure on them, to remove regulations, to pardon regulations, to change things, to push our assembly to let people build. Number three, to be a marketer. I'm not joking, to be a marketer. So if you're building something in Buffalo, like the Buffalo Billion debacle, I should be the guy saying, hey, how do we make this connect to the Erie Canal? How do we make this work so we can have more trade going to Chicago, right? Whatever. I'm the one who should be doing that kind of thing. Hey, businesses, why don't you come and see how cool it is? I should be showing up and bringing the media, right? That kind of stuff. I should be the number one cheerleader, marketer for these things so people want to come. Let them know, hey, if you show up, I'm not going to bug you. I'm not going to tax the hell out of you. I'm going to make it easy. Come on down. Let's do some business. Let's make some people happy. Let's hire some people. Let's get some jobs. I should be like that. That's what you should do. If the government starts to assist, here's the problem with it. Well, it sounds good. Well, the government's going to give us money to do something. The problem is when that happens, there's always strings attached. There's always my friends have to get the job. My buddies have to get this. I have to give a job to this, give a job to that. And then what happens? Debacle every single time. So I get what you're saying. This is the three ways you do it. That's how you assist. You defend the local person from the developing bully. You make sure that the bullies don't get away with it. Right now, the state is the bully. So there's no one to protect you, right? Again, the hospital downtown Utica is a perfect example of that, right? Just bullies came in and took everything. The state was totally on board. So that's number one. Number two, you need to make sure that I'm moving things away so that people can get things built, right? I don't want dumb regulations, local guys or gals who have their own personal issues and that. And then third, be the marketer in chief to motivate people to get things done, to show up and make it happen. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I answered your question. So he had a lot to say. I hope that was clear for you at least. All righty. Lunatic is in the house. How are you, brother? I'm going to be on Lunatic Show, I think, next week. November 5th. Is that right? Venues for next week, so we can promote that. I will be there. He'll probably yell at me, which is fine. I love him. It's fine. We'll yell at each other, maybe. We'll see. It should be good. I hope so. So, guys, if you like what I'm saying, and I hope you do, subscribe to this channel or page you're watching this on. Subscribing does matter. Click that like button, as I tell you all the time. And, of course, share, repost if you can. But more importantly, if you want to really help out, three ways you can. Number one, you can donate. LarrySharpe.com/donate. If you want to donate, please jump on board. But you can, please do so. If you are a New Yorker, your funds will be matched 6-1. So if you give me $10, $60, $100, $600, $200, $1,200. But they only match up to $250. So you can go more than $250 if you want to. I'm happy if you have that kind of money. But if you go more than $250, they're not going to match it. So they're not going to match more than $250. But you can give more if you want to. If you're saying, Larry, I love you, but I can't give you $100. I don't have it. Okay. Can you give me $10 a month for the next year? This is a 1-year campaign. Can you give me $10 a month for the next year? That works. Do that if you can. Donate what you can. Please donate. It does matter. Why? I need money for this stuff, right? I got to buy signs. You see some here. I got to buy signs. I got to buy T-shirts. I got to buy door hangers. I got to buy bumper stickers. I got to get Facebook ads. I got to travel. All those things. So, guys, if you can, please do what you can up there. I appreciate it. You say, Larry, I love it, but I would like a gift. Okay. LarrySharpe.com/shop. You head over there and you can pick up a hoodie, a T-shirt, bumper sticker, whatever you like. Grab one of those things if you can. Donate to get that. I appreciate it. You say, Larry, I've already given. I'm not giving you no more. Okay. Or I can't give. Okay. Can you volunteer? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Don't tell me you can't volunteer. You can. So do me a favor. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. Join SEAL Team Sharpe. Yes, I want you to do that. If you live in New York, we're going to ask you to go out and do things, show up to places, help me get events going. If you don't live in New York, we need you as a social media warrior. We do. The meme wars are real. I need soldiers. I need troops. I need Marines. Come on now. Jump on board. Volunteer. Join SEAL Team Sharpe so we can move this forward. It does matter. Please help out. Every little bit counts. So, guys, thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right. Let me, and of course, Missy says it already. And so does D. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. All righty. Ymir says, Larry Sharpe for governor of New York. Yes. True. So does Dean. Thank you, Dina. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Yes. Music Man Grant says, APAC donations to campaign Sharpe, 0. True. Stefanik, 983,000. We can see really the New York first candidate for governor. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. 100%. Yes. Lunatic says, I'm a felon. Oh, the labels, titles, and categories. Always. Louis, you know this. We just always. We label people because it's an easy way to do the one-word story. I can't listen to Lunatic. He's a felon. So therefore, everything he says is irrelevant. I wish I was making that up. I think you know what I'm talking about. And this is why you hate labels. And I do too. I'm with you. I hate them. I just accept that they exist. So how do we change the connotation of those labels, right? How do we make them irrelevant? Yes. Right? So, yeah. All righty. Let me go over to, a bunch of people here on Instagram. I appreciate it. T.Y. Brayton says, who was your running mate going to be? I don't know yet. I haven't decided that yet. I've got to have some conversation with some people to make sure it works. I'm considering, for those of you who know, trying to create some type of unity ticket. And that's challenging. That's not easy as you might think. Trying to find somebody who may either be, as an example, a Green Party member, Republican Party member. I probably can't get a Democratic Party member because the Democrats run everything. So why would you? Unless it's a pissed off Democrat, but maybe a conservative party member and these types of people to join in. Surely because of, the We the People Party will try to grab a Maha person who may jump on board. We require 4 people for our ticket. For those who don't know New York State, it runs as a 4-person ticket. It's governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and controller. So I am trying to figure out what makes the most sense, what helps. The problem is also when you have that type of unity ticket, people start fighting each other also, which becomes challenging. Not impossible, but challenging to find the right personalities where someone could come in and say, yeah, Larry, I disagree with some of your libertarian policies, but if I can have my lane, I'll shut up and just deal with my lane. That's not easy to find, right? They're going to be like, oh, I have to yell loud about this thing. It's like RFK Jr. joining the Trump team, right? He's like, can I have my lane? And Trump was like, you can't have oil. You can't have the environment. No, you only get that. And RFK said, okay, I'll take my lane. So I have to find somebody who will take their lane and be okay with it. And when they disagree with me, I don't mind if someone disagrees with me at all. I don't. You guys know it. I do it here all the time. But I can't have them openly attacking me during the campaign. To find someone who just go, no, you know what? I disagree with Larry on this, and I'm going to move on. Here's my lane. And they can say they disagree with me. They can say I'm wrong. I don't mind that. That's probably a good thing, actually. But if they're going to openly attack, that becomes a problem. So I have to find someone who could say, Larry's wrong on this, but I'm okay because I get my lane, versus he's wrong, he's a bad guy. No. And that's challenging. So I'm looking for that. I don't know where I can find it. We'll see. Rowdy1 says, brilliant. Yes. Thank you, Rowdy. Appreciate that. Yes. I hope I get it right. Realo Emo. I get it right. Love everything you've done. I got to ask, what would you do different in your 26 campaign compared to the past? Yeah. I learned a lot in 2022. 2018 also. 2018 was a great campaign for those of you who were there and watched it. It was amazing on how well we did. I think most people didn't see me as a threat, and that's where they kind of left me alone until like the end. And then they put me under with polling I didn't understand. For those of you who don't know the story, if you're listening and watching, I didn't understand why I wasn't in the polls. I was like, why am I not in the polls? I'm raising money. I raised $500,000. I'm the libertarian nominee. Why am I not in the polls? And the polling companies are very open. Well, you don't buy the poll. What? You don't buy the poll. So I had to buy the poll? Yeah, buy the poll. You'll be in. Oh, okay, how much does the poll cost? 40 grand. I can't pull 40 grand. I only raised $500,000 total. That's 10% of what I raised for one poll where I may or may not be even in. Oh my God. So yeah, this stuff I didn't know. Stuff like that. Being in the press, I didn't know that either, right? How it's often pay to play. I ask you, for money all the time. For stuff like this, I have to buy polling. That's 40 grand for one poll. I mean, it could be less or more depending on what I'm asking for, but it's tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, for one poll. If I want to be in the press, they don't tell you this publicly, but it's utterly true. If you actually are, buying ads, they kind of have to cover you because you're on their show, you're on their your radio station, or you're on their TV station. because you're buying ads. So once you buy ads, they cover you. Also, another stealth way of pay to play. That costs tens of thousands of dollars. Why do you think I'm sitting here telling you to give me money so I can get matching funds? If I raise $500,000 from New Yorkers, New York State will give me $3 million. They match 6 to 1. I'm not making that up. That's data. Do your own homework. That's how it works. So if I get $500,000 from New Yorkers, New York State gives me $3 million. If they give me $3 million, I can buy all those things. So what did I learn? Several things. One, negotiating with the major parties, trying to win is silly. They care about grifting and power, not about winning. And they aren't the same. You might think, well, power means winning. It doesn't. Power means local people still having control. The local bullies having control. Oh, those bullies like control, and they want to keep it. So I've learned that the hard way in 2022 as they sued me off the ballot when I gave them an answer. I gave them a way to win. And they went, but can we still grift and control? And I went, I didn't come up with that plan because I didn't think that mattered. Ignorant me. That's my fault. Totally my fault. I take full responsibility for that. That failure was mine. I was still in the impression back then that, well, you wanted to win and that was the way to have power. Oh, silly me. I learned that lesson the hard way. They don't give a shit about that. They don't care about that. Why do you think they do so many things that make no sense? They'll never win. They don't care. That isn't the goal. The goal is to maintain whatever power they have. So if someone else winning breaks that equilibrium of their power, we can't have that. So I did not know that. Well, maybe a part of me knew that, but didn't want to know that. I might have had some confirmation bias on that one. I did not want to believe that. And boy, is that true. So that's a very important lesson. I learned how important money works, how power works. And of course, so that's things I've learned. I've also learned that when it comes to doing this as an independent, you must take all the allies you can get and many you cannot get. And you must take help from any place you can get it, even if it's not always good. Not always. There are lines to the other point that that was mentioned earlier. I'm not an APAC guy. Not my thing. Not going there. That's a place you do not want to go because that has a whole lot of strings attached. So I've got to find allies without strings. That's hard. Again, also to the earlier point, that's hard. I've got to find allies with no strings. I've got to find allies who simply agree with me on certain things and I'm prepared to take that. Allies who say, I'm not happy with everything Larry does, but he'll give me this because he agrees with that. Okay. An example, of course, is someone who, say, is a more conservative person who may not agree with all the things, who may not want to help felons because they're conservative. They think felons should be punished and don't spend any money on them. There are conservatives who believe that, but who are all about Second Amendment and know that I will support the Second Amendment better than anyone else in the state running. Not even close. It's not even close. That person, I'll take as an ally. That's a conservative I'll take as an ally who wouldn't agree with my ideas on felons, but would 100% agree with the Second Amendment and is prepared to go, you know what? Second Amendment is more important. Deal with your felon thing. Deal with your felon thing. Let me have Second Amendment. Those are the allies I have to find. I learned that too. And that's also very challenging. This is why this is so hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I am the only real threat at all, if there is one, for third parties in New York State. There is no other. It's me or nobody else who's really a threat statewide. There are some local people who are threats independently. There are some. But statewide, I'm the only one that's even close to a threat. I'm the only one. Why? Who wants to do this? So I know I went long on that one, but I hope I answered your question. So yeah. Real Emo says also what local county offices would you recommend a voluntarily type libertarian to run for? Here is what I want you to run for. Two things. Number one, you have to be passionate for that. And what I mean by that, I find people who they talk about, we got to worry about the Ukraine war. So I'm running for city council. Why? You're passionate about the Ukraine war. Don't run for city council. You can't do anything. You want to talk about the Ukraine war? City council, who cares? It's city council. Who cares? City council can worry about local stuff. Do I care about the potholes? Do I care about healthcare locally? Do I care about childcare locally? Do I care about the bridge that's being built? If that's what you're passionate about, that you want to talk about, Go to where you are passionate about it, whatever that thing is, right? I find people who, I'm running for governor. Okay, great. You run for governor. What are you passionate about? This local school board. What? Local school board? Dude, you run for governor. Don't run for governor and care about some local school board. Now, all school boards, yes. But a local issue that is bugging you, run local. What are you doing? So number one, be passionate, because you got to talk about it again and again and again. And you have to ignore stuff that doesn't matter to you, right? So focus on something that you're passionate about, number one. Number two, can you make impact? Impact is, without a doubt, subjective. Can you get people to understand? Can you change a law? Can you win? Anything that is impact. Can you make impact? Don't run for the sake of running. That is a waste of your time, a waste of your energy, but more importantly, it's a waste of your volunteers' energy. It's a waste of their time. If you notice, people think I run all the time. I don't. I've only run 3 times, the third time. I run, people say all the time, Larry, why don't you run for city council? Why don't you run for whatever? For what? I'm not going to win or make any impact. I'm not going to win a city council race in New York City. I'm not. I'm not going to beat my assemblyman is Mamdani. I'm not beating him. My congressman's AOC. I'm not beating her. I'm not going to beat them. I'm not going to make impact. Why would I burn you out? Why would I waste your time, your energy, and your money? Why would I do that? Why would I waste my time, energy, and money? No, I run when I can make impact. In 2018, I did make impact. I made so much impact, they changed the rules to crush me in 2022. In 2022, I tried to make impact. Sadly, I failed. But I ran to make impact. I'm running again to make impact. Doing it again. So these 3 times, you've heard me bug you again and again and again. Now I want your time, your money, and your emotion. Now I want it. I want your energy now. Why? I'm giving it myself. We can make impact. So only run. I'm trying to not be a hypocrite. Run when you are passionate, which you can see I'm passionate about my state. All the ideas and concepts I come up with. I talk about it all the time, constantly, all the time. So it matters to me. Some of you don't care about that. Don't run for a statewide election then. I'm not mad at you for it, but go where your passion is. Mine is clearly here 3 times in a row. Clearly, I don't want to leave my state. Clearly, I care about my state. So I do this. You should do what you follow those rules, right? And then, of course, bug people for money, time, and energy when you're not going to throw it away. At least you believe you're not going to. I mean, you never know what could happen, but you believe you're not going to. I'm doing this now, bugging you for money, bugging you for time, bugging you for your attention, bugging you for your energy. Yes, 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 do the things because this matters. I will make impact and I'm passionate about it and you could tell. I hope I answered your question on that one. So I think I grabbed the questions from Instagram. All right, let me grab if I could. Liberty Lady has reposted the stream. Guys, repost the stream. Put it someplace. Share it in the Facebook page. Share it someplace. It does matter. So, yes. All righty. Dina says, yes, Larry, I know someone who got in trouble, felon. He is so loyal, back on track. Yes, the data is in. It's there. The data is in. 100%. This is true. It's a fact. We can help people. Shelly says, go Gov Sharpe. Thank you. Tyler says, that's the same idea I had for trucking companies that train and hire homeless people. True, yes. Absolutely. Again, if they can work for 5 years, they're good. Get them a chance. Now, look, some homeless people, and the problem is we look at many people who are homeless and we look at them as if they're all some crazy drug addict, mentally ill person. Some are. That's true. But most aren't. The problem is the ones we see are those. Those are the ones that are in the news. Those are the ones who are doing violence. Yep. So those we see. But Tyler, if you spend any time with homeless people, I'm assuming you do because of what you said, you know, as I do, most are not that. So if you can get those that are not that, who don't require the extra help to make the next step, you can get those people right out. And here's the thing that's important. If you get those people out who don't require the extra help because they either have an addiction trouble or mental illness, if you can get those people out, maybe into trucking companies, maybe into diners, maybe into local small businesses, whatever. If you can get them there are less homeless people on the street. So the resources we use to help those people, they're less strained. So the people who need that extra help because they have addiction or mental health problems can be helped a whole lot easier. So yes, yes, and yes. This helps out completely. This works. So yeah, I appreciate that. All righty. Here we go. Shelly says, off topic but urgent. If you are a prayer person, please pray for my friend whose dad just had quadruple bypass surgery. Thank you in advance. Guys, if you want to support someone, please do so. Yes, Shelly's correct. Jump on board, guys. I appreciate it. Alrighty, Missy says, if you're a New York resident, your donation of $5 plus will count 6 times. True. She's right. Don't stop that. She is correct. Absolutely. All right, Liberty says, November 5th, Larry Sharpe on a Lunatic Libertarian podcast. There we go. I love it. Yes, so if you guys can, please grab that. I appreciate it. All righty. Let's see. Literally says, can Larry talk about that poll on X that has Stefanik in the lead? Guess she's dishing out that money for polls. Yes, she's purchasing polls, which is great. And it's from the Manhattan Institute. The Manhattan Institute is a conservative leaning. They call themselves libertarians. We talked about that last night. Are they, though? Maybe. How do I think they're not? Because when I tried to get them to help me out, all they did was try to convince me to either support the Republican or become Republican. So, yes. When I went to them and I said, hey, I'm a libertarian. Will you guys support me? Will you guys help me in some way? I actually asked them for a person to join my team for policy. I did ask them to join my policy team. They're like, yeah, Larry, but, you need to become a Republican. Okay, no, I don't. They can't win in this state, and I'm not a Republican. Yeah, but okay. So yes, that run that poll was run by the Manhattan Institute, which is basically a Republican group in New York State. I'm not mad at them. I wish they wouldn't call themselves libertarian. Just say you're conservative, say you're Republican. I'm not mad at Republicans or conservatives, but just don't call yourself libertarian if you're not. It's fine, but don't do that, please. Anyway, so in that poll, I believe it's 40 some odd percent Stefanik and 40 something percent Hochul and 9% other. 9% other person plus undecided. So there's other plus undecided. So other doesn't mean undecided. It means it was some other candidate, not undecided. 9% other candidate. What other candidates running? The one you're looking at. So because Manhattan Institute is a Republican group, they wouldn't put Larry Sharpe because they think that will take away from Stefanik. I mean, they're right, but that doesn't matter. They can't have that. So they won't put my name. Other, whenever you see other, note the color, by the way. The color was gold. If you go to that poll, the color was gold and it said other. Who's that other? That's me. In 2022, I was polling at 6%. It's 2025 now. I'm more popular. That other is me. Just don't fool yourself. So the polling's already out. I'm already hitting 8-9% in polling. Now you might go, but Larry, it's just polling. True, don't get me wrong. That doesn't magically mean I'm going to get 9% of the vote. It does not mean that. Generally speaking, how polling works and how versus the ballot box. Whatever an independent's polling, they will get about half. Half of the people who say, yeah, I love Larry Sharpe, when they get in the booth, go, and go back to their old ways. That's how it works. So that means if I'm polling at 9%, not including undecided, say I get a third of those, now I'm at 11%. So say 10% rounded. It means I'll pull 5%. As of now, I haven't done anything else. As of now, I'd get 5% of the vote. As of now. 5% of the vote means ballot access for both parties. That's what it means. That means ballot access. That's what it means already now. And I haven't finished raising money, and I haven't finished running, and I haven't gotten to debate stage, and none of that stuff. Imagine what it's going to be. And they know that. That's why they're now putting out these polls. They're seeing that I announced. Like, oh my God, Larry's actually doing stuff. Stefanik isn't. Why would she? She's not doing anything. So now, she's doing one thing. Hochul's bad. That's all she does. She couldn't have a Gov Shack like this. Stefanik couldn't do it. Neither could Hochul, by the way, because they don't have any plans. If they took live questions, they'd just be yelled at. How do I know that? Stefanik gets booed when she goes to her own events in her own area. I'm not making that up. She does. She has no plans. Her plans are Democrats or communists. That's her plan. That's it. She has no plan. She knows she can't win. It's New York State. It's impossible. So yeah, they put that up. So for those of you who wonder, why would they do it then, Larry? Why would they put that poll up? Why would they do that? Here's the issue. They just want to keep raising money. That's the issue. I wish it was something else. That's the issue. That they lied to New Yorkers in 2018, Republicans, they lied to New York Republicans in 2022, and they're lying to them again in 2026. If you are a Republican in New York State, what you're going to hear, and you heard it in 2018, you heard it in 2022, you heard it every time. This is our year. Now we're going to win. It was Cuomo's terrible. We can beat him. Then it was Hochul's terrible. She's a Marxist. Remember all that stuff they said? Remember that? I remember all of it. Now it's going to be, and she supports Mom Johnny. She's a communist. Yeah, calling someone a name doesn't make you win. If that were true, we'd have President Harris right now. We don't. They've been insulting Trump for 10 years, just calling him names for 10 years. He's president twice. Doesn't work. Republicans have been calling Hochul and Cuomo communist, socialist, evil for 20 years. Doesn't work. Cuomo won twice. Hochul's won once, and she's probably going to win again. Unless someone else stops her, like some guy named Larry Sharpe. Unless someone like Larry Sharpe stops her, she's going to win again. It doesn't work. And they don't care. They know it. They don't think like, I'm that smart. I'm the only one who figured this out. I wish I was that smart. No, they know it too. So they say it so you can keep raising money. If they keep raising money, they'll keep putting out candidates. What they're worried about is Republicans in New York State are worried about going the route, the same route as Democrats in Nebraska and Utah. Democrats in Nebraska and Utah, where it's opposite. It's heavily red versus heavily blue, like in New York. Don't bother running statewide candidates anymore. They can't raise their money. They know everyone's going to lose. Who will take the L? They can't do it. It's similar to what happened in New York City. Sliwa. Full disclosure. I know Curtis Sliwa. He's my friend. I like him. So full disclosure, before I say what I'm going to say, full disclosure, I am biased. Just so you know, I'm biased. Curtis Sliwa ran not because he believed he was going to win initially. That wasn't the reason why he ran. He ran because he was willing to take the L and support the Republican Party. That's why he actually ran. Nobody else wanted that because they knew they would lose. Because it's 6-1 Democrat Republican in New York City. And he took it. And then Mamdani popped out, which, by the way, I warned them all, and they ignored me. He popped up and realized he had a shot at winning. The Republican Party dropped the ball already because they didn't care. In this state, that's how it works. And then maybe not in your state. Maybe state's different. I don't know where you live. But in my state, that's how it works. That is how it works in my state. So they're just trying to keep lying, to keep raising money. This is our year. It's a lie. It's not your year if you're a Republican. Not statewide. Again, locally, Republicans win all over. If you have a local Republican you like, please vote for that local Republican. Statewide, never going to happen. So, yeah, she's paying for polls. Manhattan Institute's paying for polls. So they can pretend that Stefanik has a chance of victory. So the Republicans will keep giving money. And sadly, millions of Republicans are going to give money to Stefanik's campaign. It is a total waste of time, money, and energy. They're throwing it all away. He says, well, Larry, you don't win. Yeah, but I'm still here. If you put your money into me, it's an investment. How do you know that? Because I'm still here. Because all my ideas are still on my website. You can still go right now. Check my policy page. It's there. You can just go. Where's her policies? Oh, wait, there aren't any. And look, the last 3 people who've run, where are they now? Not here. Not helping. Not doing anything. Doing their own thing. Thank you for the money, suckers. And they're gone. That's them. Every one of them. From 2014 on, they're all gone. And Stefanik will be gone too. She'll take your money. Thank you, suckers, and leave. And sadly, millions of Republicans are going to write her checks and give her money for nothing. Throw it right away. You give your money to me, it's an investment. I'm still doing this. I haven't stopped. You've been seeing me some way, shape, or form advocate for freedom, advocate for New York State, advocate for policies. You see me do this for 7 years straight. Haven't stopped. You see me cover every single state, every single county in this state, also did too, every year for 7 years. Yes. You ask me questions about the state, I'm able to answer. Why? Because I'm still here doing the work. So me, it's an investment. Them, it's a gamble which you're going to lose. Enjoy. I hope I answered your question. I went long again. I tend to go long, but what are you going to do? All righty. Phil says, Lieutenant Governor with a lot of cash. I would like that. I would like any of them on my ticket with a lot of cash. If you happen to know someone who wants to run who has lots of cash, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Because here's the way the rules work. If you take someone who has a lot of money and they're on the ticket, they're basically unlimited in how much they can give. So yeah, I gave myself $10,000 when I first ran. If I'm gonna sit here and ask you for money, I could give myself, right? I can't point my finger at you until I point it at me. So I wrote myself a check in 2018 for 10 grand, my own money in my own campaign. So when I put my own money in, at that point, I'm like, okay, now you give me money. I gave you money. At the end of my 2018 campaign, I was about $100K in debt. 22 campaign, I was $40,000 in debt. I'll be in debt at the end of this campaign too. I accept that as true. So I'm giving up my money. I'm asking you to give up yours. I'm giving up my time. I'm asking you to give up yours. I'm giving up my energy. I'm asking you. I cannot, in good conscience, point my finger at you if I can't point it at myself first. So I've already pointed at myself. Your turn now. Thank you. All right. Thomas says, both the Republicans and Democrats have been recycling bad ideas. Larry has not only innovative solutions, but is willing to find more solutions. True and true. All right. Let me shift over now, if I could, to small businesses. I've scratched that. Let me go to licensing. Maybe that's better because there's more opportunity for individuals. As a kid in the Bronx, I never forget when I grew up in the 70s in the Bronx, that a lot of people who were able to get themselves out of poverty, out of the ghetto, we called it, now it's the hood, it used to be called the ghetto, out of the ghetto, it was through their own hard work or entrepreneurism or family businesses, things like that. A lot of that was much more available back in the day. Back in the day, we didn't have Uber. There was no Uber back in the 70s and 80s, right? But cabs wouldn't go to our neighborhoods. So you couldn't get a cab in a neighborhood. So you had to have gypsy cabs. And we knew they were gypsy cab because they would paint one door a different color from the car. So the car is blue and then one door is red. Oh, okay, gypsy cab, right? Or the car is green and then one door is yellow, whatever. So one door was different color. That's how you knew it was gypsy cab. That's how you knew in my neighborhood who the gypsy cabs were. So you flag them down, give them cash, and they take you someplace. That's how it worked back in the day. If you watch any old TV shows from the 70s in New York or any old movies, you'll see some of them. And very often they're portrayed in the movies as a Jamaican all the time. That there were many Jamaicans, that's true, but that was the stereotype. He was always Jamaican with the hat and the whole, yeah, that was the stereotype of the 70s. Now there were many Jamaican gypsy cab drivers, that's true, but they weren't all. Many of them were Hispanic, white, all different. So if you couldn't get a yellow cab or you wouldn't come to the ghetto, that's who would come to the ghetto. So anyway, but that's free market stuff working. Girls on the stoop would braid hair for dollars. That would be a thing. Guys would fix cars in the street. Many of them were either Puerto Rican or Dominican. I don't know why that was the case, but it was back then. They would be fixing cars in the streets constantly. And that was a way that people made money. Heavy licensing is harming New Yorkers. We even have it with our medical ability, right? We decide all these in New York State, if you don't get certified in New York State for things, you can't work in New York State. Well, that would have licensing. But Connecticut's bad. I'm not joking. So you're licensed in Connecticut, you can't work in New York. Why? Why? Because licensing has to be severely taken down. But Larry, wait a minute. You can't just have a free-for-all. I'm not saying free-for-all. Have credentialing. What's the difference? Credentialing means the state can give you a credential. If you pass certain rules and regulations that the state believes is appropriate, they give you a credential. So that credential will be posted. I have this New York State credential. Does it mean I cannot open up shop and work? No. It just means I work without a credential. Now, showing a credential that you did not actually achieve is fraud and it's a crime. That's a crime. You should be punished for such. If you did not achieve the credential, you cannot show it. So now I, as a consumer, go in and go, wait a minute, you know what? You're going to braid hair, a shop where you do hair. Do I care about that credential? I do. Don't go to that person. They'll go out of business and that'll be the end of it. Or I don't care. I'm going to go anyway. And for those of you who don't know, most hair braiding shops in New York City don't have the credential. And somehow where are the deaths from hair braiding? There are none. That's made up. So New York State decides that you have to go get a college degree. I'm not joking. To braid hair. That's true. That's New York State. That's the best to go away. Let people use their labor as they see fit to make money, whatever that is. Now, if you want to have credentialing, I don't mind. In fact, there will be trade associations. There'll be hair braiding trade associations that will pop up because it'll be more of a trade, and they'll have their own credentialing. So I got the Hair Braiders Association of New York credentialing. I got the New York State so credentialing. And you, if you want to get your hair braided, will decide if you care or not. If you don't care, good. If you do care, great. You decide. Community should decide what works. Your customer base should decide what works. That's what matters. If they tell you your credentials are garbage, you don't like it, then you got crappy credentials. Go get them. But not because government forced you. Because your community and because your customer said, we don't respect you. That's on you. That's not on government. You will see that change tremendously when we change the idea of licensing. The licensing piece is critical because it tends to hurt poor and working class people. It is rare that someone who is upper class or wealthy has any problem with credentialing. Very rare. This is a direct attack on poor and working class people. That is why we have to change it and fix it, give more people opportunity here to get to that next step, that next level. Hope that makes sense for some of you. So I want to grab that second piece if I could. Jeffrey says, you should pick someone in Buffalo or an area like that. You can work the downstate, Long Island, Westchester, lower upstate. Have your lieutenant governor cover Western and Central New York. That's not a bad idea. I like that idea. But I also want to make sure that I'm out there too, right? And I do. I'm going to be heading back out there November 7th. I'm heading back to North Country. And November 21st, I'm going to head to Western New York. I'm going to be out as far as Niagara. So I'll be out there there. And I think I'll be in Erie County, Buffalo, I think December 7th. I think December. I'm out there. So yeah, I am heading back out there. I absolutely am. I get it. I am doing it. So, alrighty. Musician says, Lieutenant Walton for Lieutenant Governor. I was, Jim Walton. I was thinking Jim Walton actually for AG. He's a lawyer. I was thinking for AG. I talked about it a little bit. I don't know if it's a match or not. He dropped out of the mayor's race. He may be a little bit burned. I don't want somebody if he's burned, right? I don't want to push him into something. If he's open to it, I'm happy to have that conversation. But this is a big job, and he just did a mayor race, so he's got to work too. So he may not be up for it. But I know Jim. I like him. We've talked about it. I don't know if I'll make that happen. It wouldn't be lieutenant governor for him. It would be AG. So I'm considering that. He actually was on the RFK Jr. Legal team to get on the ballot. So there's something there too. I'm open to the idea. I am. I've already talked to him. I know him. I was at an event with him 3 months ago. So yeah, 100%. Ken says, tell all your friends in New York, whether real life or Facebook, about Larry. If you catch a New York News Facebook page posting about elections, candidates or governments, mention Larry. Thank you. Ken is correct. Follow Ken. Do what Ken says. He's right. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. Shelly says, we need money to get the permission to be on that hill. Yes. We got to push that rock up that hill. Yes. Absolutely. Christopher says, Larry, if you were elected governor of New York, how might you relate to the current Trump administration? It's actually simple. I actually believe what Curtis Lewis said. Curtis is right. Right? He said, you don't want to fight Trump. You want to negotiate with Trump. I agree. Fighting Trump doesn't work. Negotiating does. And people don't like when I say it. They want me to just stand up and fight him, whatever. That's virtue signaling where New Yorkers suffer. We see it now. Hochul is losing. People who don't like Trump just want to virtue signal against him. I don't. I want to get New York the best I can get for New York. I know who Trump is. And so you go, he's a Nazi. Not the point. Stop that. It's not helpful. Stop. The reality of what Trump actually is, the real thing that he is he is a New York City real estate developer. That's his personality. That's where he's been his entire life. That's who he is. Now, some of you who love Trump go, yeah, no, he's a savior. No, he's not. For those of you who are left, he's a Nazi. No, he's not. He is a New York City real estate developer. That's his personality. That's who he is. That's why when you're left, you can't understand, why does he just do stuff? Why doesn't he quit? How do we keep attacking him? Because he's used to that. He's been doing it. And he's learned that how you get stuff built in New York City is just to never stop, to sue everybody, to fight everybody. And eventually you outlast them. That's how you build shit in New York City. I'm not saying it's a good thing. That's true. So Republicans get mad. Why did he didn't stick to his ideology? He wants to get a deal done. He will break his ideology to get a deal done. He's a New York City developer. He will break ideology to get a deal done. And that makes Republicans mad. Why didn't he do this? That wasn't right. Did he get a deal done? He did. People go, he's crazy. He calls whatever this guy great, then he calls him bad. He calls them whatever it takes to get the deal done. So if you're dealing with him and he likes the deal, he compliments you. You're amazing. And if you don't, he insults you. You're terrible. That may sound simple, but if you get that's who he is, the things he does will make sense to you. That's who he is. People call him X or Y. No, he is a New York City real estate developer. That's his personality. If you understand that, and Sliwa does understand that, that's why Sliwa is correct. Sliwa's a New Yorker too, just like I am. We remember Trump here in New York. We're all New Yorkers. We know who Trump actually is. That's who he actually is. Through everything else you say, no, he's that. Knowing that, make a goddamn deal. Get what you want. He will break and turn to get a deal done. He will. He's shown us this 1,000 times. He'll do it again. He will. So that is my relationship with Trump administration. Make a deal to get what I need from my state. I'll make a deal to get what I need from my state. That's it. That's what I care about. That's what I will do. Some of you who are more left-leaning will be angry about that and won't like it. I get it. Some of you who are more right-leaning, well, no, it's about ideology and conservatism. It's not. And I know it may make you angry, but one thing I'm not going to do is lie to you. Not going to happen. You see me do it, I'm not going to lie to you. I will make whatever deal is required to make this state better. That's what I will do. Some of you will be mad, I know. But I'm not going to virtue signal. I'm not just going to worship him, neither. I will negotiate and work with him. And one thing I do well is negotiate. So we'll see. Anyway, and I do know who he is, as does Sliwa. That's why Sliwa said that. He was right. Yes. All righty. Guy says, your answer on how you've grown from your past campaigns is very insightful. Thanks for the information. You know, some people don't like, but some of my team sometimes does it too. Some people don't like when I kind of open the kimono, as they say, and share parts of myself. But I have to, Guy So Smooth, and let me tell you why. When I become more popular and an actual threat to the establishment, which will happen next year, when that happens, they will just make things up. They will just make things up and insult me. They will change how things are done, and they will show me in some horrible light. They will say, I hate this, right? How do I know? Because in 2018, when they got scared at the end, they were making things up. They were thinking, Larry Sharpe's a Cuomo plant. Utter horseshit, not even close to true. Larry Sharpe hates the Second Amendment. Utter horseshit, not true. Larry Sharpe's against law enforcement. My father was in law enforcement. Utter crap, not true. But they would just say it. How do I get you to not fall for it? How do I get you to not believe the lies that will absolutely come out, 100% come out? How do I get you to not believe them? The only way I can do that is by letting you know who I actually am. It's by opening up totally. It's why I've said this forever, and I'll keep saying it. Every event I do, every show I do, every event I do in New York State, I've done over 700 events across New York State. Every one I do, no notes, live. You get me every single time, you like it or not. Guy just asked me about Trump. I told you the truth. I was in an event a couple weeks ago in Oneida, and the guy says to me, and this is public, you can watch it in my event at the American Legion if you want to see it. It's on my page. Guy asked a question. He goes, Larry, we need to outlaw propaganda. And I said, no. Free speech is free speech. We have to learn how to deal with that. We can't. Then who decides what propaganda is? The government decides what propaganda is? Well, then it's propaganda. No. We have to learn to deal with that. We have to have an open society so that we can figure this shit out. We have to. Right? I know they're going to lie about me. I'm not outlawing that. I'm telling you that they're going to lie about me. I'm not going to outlaw that. I know that poll that the Manhattanists do is utter propaganda. It's total garbage. It means nothing. It's utter propaganda to get Republicans to give you money. In my eyes, it's unethical because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I have to get you to know me so that when the lies come out, guys like you and others go, that's bullshit. Don't believe that. Don't believe that, guys. That's not true. Because I can say it all day. They ain't going to believe me. I'm the one being attacked. They're not going to believe me when I go, it's not true. They go, oh, Larry's just defending himself. But when you guys go, no, that's not true. I know Larry. I've seen him. I've been to his events. I've shook his hand. I've talked to him online. I've been in a show. I know guys who know him. No, not him. Not him. It changes. So anyway, hope that makes sense. Literally says 100% Larry's passionate for New York. True. You're not wrong. True. Yes, absolutely true. That's I think it's obvious. So yeah. All righty. Bill says, bug me all you want, Larry. We can do this. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Yes, and I do. Dingy says, we need to get the Greens to support you. Hawkins was the only independent ahead of you in 2018. Look, Howie and I get along. He's a friend of mine. He lives in Syracuse. We're both Marines. We get along well. We talked just last year? We had a phone call a while ago. So we're still friends. I like him. We disagree on a lot of things. But yeah, someone like Howie Hawkins, if they're on board, I'm open to this idea, right? I am open to this concept. I'm open to having it. The question is, how do we make it happen? It's not easy, Nathan. It's not easy. You're right, but it's challenging. It's what we're working on it. We're trying to make this better if we can, and it's not so easy. So yes. Anyway, thank you for that. I agree. I'm open to Greens having a piece. I'm open to Greens having a piece. I'm open to, lots of people with different pieces so we can move this forward. I am. So yes. All righty. Let's see here. Ryan says, if Stefanik is truly in the lead, which I doubt, Hannity will be pushing her campaign relentlessly next year. Well, Hannity will push it relentlessly no matter what. Because he has to. He will no matter what. But yeah, she's not in the lead. That's not a thing. I was in her county, one of her counties, Lewis County, the other day. A month ago, 2 months ago? Since the other day. It's all blends to me. And I asked them, I said, what do you think of Stefanik? And their words were, Larry, we see you more than her. And I only stop by once or twice a year. I stop by Lewis County once or twice a year. I happen to know the sheriff there. I like that guy. He's great. Mike is wonderful. He's a great sheriff. Great guy. He's not running. I've actually asked him to help out, come aboard. He's like, I'm done, Larry. So he was great. I like Mike a lot. Carpinelli's a great guy. I like him. But also someone I talked to, he's like, he doesn't, and I get it. This is punishment, guys. A lot of people don't want to do this. So yeah, not just that. I'm in St. Lawrence County, also part of her district. And people recognize me more than her. Same thing. They didn't even know what she was about. No idea. I'm sitting at the table talking to people about her. They're like, what? I don't know. What does she do? They don't even know. And that's her congressperson. So yeah, that's not an issue. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Where am I? I grabbed that. Okay, we're good. Phil says, in the city of Albany, you need to hire a licensed plumber. You don't outside of Albany. Rent is more expensive than it should be in Albany. There's a lot more empty buildings there as well. Yeah, look, I'm not saying that we shouldn't license plumbers. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it shouldn't be illegal to use a handyman. And in many cases, if you use a handyman, you have a problem. You should be okay to use a handyman if you choose so. Up to you. It's your work, your stuff. You deal with it. That's my issue. So yeah, I completely agree. All right, let me grab one more when it comes to opportunity, if I could. I dealt with licensing, and I dealt with that piece, but I was going to the next thing, which is a little bit awkward, but I think it helps opportunity, and that is localized public banks. What does that mean? Local people can put their money together to basically create co-op banking or credit unions locally by municipality or by county. Why would that matter? Because when you create that creates a localized system to build infrastructure and to support businesses locally, which means it's cheaper, faster. You get what you actually need, not what some crony in Albany decides I want to build because I have a friend who builds stuff. So that will help with that, which helps out local infrastructure. Awesome opportunity. Increases jobs. Also awesome. But more importantly, increases the ability to support co-ops. Now, do I think co-ops are better or worse? I don't. But I think this gives people opportunities who want to have some form of ownership in their own company or business or in their work. It gives people the opportunity. Right now, co-ops are basically looked down upon because it's communism. I don't care about that. What I care about is, are you happy? I'm not, Larry, aren't you against communism? If it's voluntary, no. Are you against socialism? If it's voluntary, no. And we do it often. The Amish are voluntarily socialist. Good for you. Voluntary, you decide it's right for you, go do you. Many people give money to civic groups or to churches, and they hand it out in a socialized or communistic way. Okay, voluntary. You do you. No worries. I'm not against you voluntarily doing what you want with your money. Not at all. So let people have co-ops if they want them. Support them. Will they work? I don't know, to be fair with you. Some do, some don't. But here's another rule we put in place with that, along with that together. When a company's going out of business, they're going to go bankrupt. You give them a grace period, say 60 days, 90 days, whatever the case may be. We pick the number. I'm not sure what that number is. Say, sake of argument, 60 days. That now the workers, if they want to, can buy that company and create a worker co-op. Well, your response is, Larry, that sounds good, but where are you going to get the money from? True. Got to have money to buy it. You do. 100%. You have to. Give them the right of first refusal. Here's how you do it. Local credit union says, I want this in my community. This makes sense to keep this diner, this garage, this insert thing here in the community. We want it. We will back the loan. On top of the state says, all these people about to get laid off, they're all about to get a bunch of benefits for a year or half a year, whatever it is. We'll put it all up front. So take the benefits. I'm going to pay you anyway, right? I'm going to pay these benefits anyway. Don't pay them over time. Pay them right now. Put them into the business to buy the business to support that. So the state supports with money it's going to spend anyway. Unemployment, they're going to pay anyway. So don't pay that. Just give it to them straight up. The bank puts its money in. Now we have money in to buy that company. And the workers who are in that company, they now own the company. They have a worker co-op. We got a shot at fixing this company, staying in the people, staying in the community, keeping people going. A lot of people don't want to own a business because they're afraid of it. It's challenging. But will they work within a worker co-op where they all own it? They would. They would. Give them a shot. Again, not required. Voluntary. If you decide to, you may. We don't support that. Right? We don't support that. That's how we do it. So doing that, again, more opportunity for local people to suck it. And some of those people will get in there and realize, I can run a business myself. I don't require a co-op. I don't want a co-op. Okay, great. You'll sell your shares in your business and go buy business. Good for you. Some will just stay. All good. The people who run it may go, you know what? We don't want the co-op anymore. We'll sell to an individual. All good. Back and forth makes it happen. So yes. Mike Voss in house, he goes, open the kimono. Who the hell says that? New one to me. Now it's an older one, actually. It's actually an older one. Yeah. But I used to live in Japan. So I remember that one. That was kind of cool. So Claire reposted the stream. Thank you, Claire. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Lauren, we're the only generation of Americans elected a president who was found guilty of felonies and found liable for SA. Democrats think this is embarrassing and shameful, but I love it. What I would say to this, and I hear this often, people don't care if they can't pay their rent. That's the issue. If people can't pay their rent, they don't care. And when the other answer is, I'm mad, they take it, like it or not. So Missy says, call your local New York radio stations and newspapers to ask them to cover Larry's run for governor. It's important people hear his policies. Thanks. She's correct. If you have any connections at all, please make a call and see what's up. Any connections at all, please do that if you can. Yes, absolutely. Please do that if you can. Absolutely. So yeah. All right. Roger's on board with me. Goes, exactly. Larry. Yes, true. Yes. Let people do what they want. I completely agree. Guys, I gave you 3 separate ideas today. Took a lot of comments and questions for my lunchtime Gov Shack. I hope it's helpful. I hope you enjoy it. If you did, please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. Please click that button. It matters tremendously. I cannot tell you how much it matters. Every click does matter. Repost this places so that people can see it. It does matter. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please do so to whatever channel or page you're watching this on. Click the subscribe button or the follow button. Every bit does count. Please do that. And I'll ask you again, if you can support, please do so. LarrySharpe.com/donate. If you live in New York State, you're matched 6 to 1. You give $10, turns to 60. 100, 600, 200, 1,200. Yes, it is matched by New York State. So please do that if you can. If you don't live in New York State, give whatever you can. If you can't give a big chunk up front, give monthly. I'm asking for 1 year. I am going to do this for 1 year. I'm telling you guys, watched me do it. I went to the wire both times, even though last time I got my ass kicked, I still went to the wire. With my ass kicked, I went to the wire. I will do it again. I will give you a year. I'm asking you to give me a year. If you can't do a bunch of money now, give me a little bit every month. $5, $10, $20 every month. Keep doing it. It does matter. If you want something from it, okay, LarrySharpe.com/shop. Get a shirt, get a hoodie, bumper sticker, whatever. Here's what I ask. If you get a thing, wear it or put it on your car. It does matter. People need to know who I am and what's going on. The number one thing I'm looking for, excuse me, is legitimacy. It matters. Please do so. And if you can't do any of that stuff, volunteer. SEAL Team Sharpe is real. We have meetings every Wednesday. Tonight. They're all Zoom meetings. Join us. We'll give you instruction what to do, how to act to move this stuff forward. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. Check it out. We need help if we can. Please do so. It does matter. Guys, I want to say thank you so much. If we could, for all the help you've done. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. I'll be back on Sharpe Way stuff coming up here. I'll be back on here, though, for Larrython. I will have Larrython Saturday from 2 to 6. Lots of cool people showing up on Larrython. I'll be posting that coming up here soon. Tons of cool people showing up on Larrython. 4 hours straight, 2 to 6, with tons of guests, tons of fun. Please show up. We'll see you all very soon.